Weather, as expected, will be a factor in this game. Temperatures in the mid-50s. It has been raining off and on. It was coming down awfully hard here about 60 minutes ago as we are just about ready for the kick. There's Chan Gailey, year 3 at the helm of the Buffalo Bills. Just 11-23 so far, but a huge home win last Sunday has this team riding high as they come into Cleveland today looking to make it 2-1. There's Pat Shurmur, second season here as the Cleveland head coach. Just 4-12 a season ago. The Browns 0-2. Although they've been in both games so far this season. That 1-point defeat here opening day, Steve, against Philly, a game that they probably should have won. And then last Sunday, a 7-point defeat in Cincinnati.
And this team is close. They've lost 8 consecutive games, the longest losing streak in the NFL, but they've been right there week 1 and week 2.
Cleveland winning the coin toss, electing to receive. Josh Cribbs, most kick returns for a touchdown in NFL history with 8. Cribbs finds the outside. He's out past the 20 and brought down at the 25-yard line after a return of 33 yards. Brandon Weeden, the 22nd overall pick in April's NFL draft. What a bounce-back performance last week after that nightmare start opening day here against the Eagles. 2 touchdowns and kept the mistakes at a minimum last week and had the Browns at least within striking distance late in that game as he and Cleveland will try to finally break through here today as they start 1st and 10 from their own 26. Weeden over the middle finds the tight end. That's Ben Watson. A fumble on the play. And Cleveland quickly recovers. Mohamed Massaquoi falls on the football. And so with the fumble, it is an official pickup of only 2 yards. Joe Thomas, Pro Bowler in each of his 5 seasons, has never missed a snap. Former first-round pick out of Wisconsin. Backs and receivers for Cleveland. Mohamed Massaquoi slowly but surely starting to become the go-to target here for Weeden as this Browns offense tries to break through. Trent Richardson on the ground. He'll lose yardage here on 2nd down. And this Buffalo defense that started so poorly against the Jets restored their confidence after a marvelous performance last weekend in the win over Kansas City. Mario Williams, the $100 million man, headlines that potent front 4 for Buffalo. Nick Barnett anchors the linebackers, longtime member of the Green Bay Packers. And Jairus Byrd, who was a question mark today with an ankle sprain, is in uniform and has made the start. So this is Weeden now on 3rd and 10. Weeden has the time. He leads incomplete, too short, trying to find a rookie, Josh Gordon. He had his man. Just a bad throw, and Cleveland will punt.
Great protection for Brandon Weeden on that play right there. Was 2 deep coverage, man-to-man underneath. He found the right matchup, although Ben Watson over the middle of the field was wide open because his defender fell down. But Brandon Weeden right there steps up nice in the pocket. If he delivers a good ball, that ball still should be caught by Josh Gordon, but was not a great throw by Brandon Weeden.
Reggie Hodges, the 60-year veteran, on the punt. Leotis McKelvin had a long punt return for 6 last Sunday. Tiptoes up the sideline and is run out of bounds at the 42. So Ryan Fitzpatrick onto the field, still yet to find the form that he showed early last season in leading the Bills to that surprising 5-2 mark. But when C.J. Spiller is playing at the level that he's been, it takes so much pressure off Fitzpatrick's shoulders. And you wonder with this weather what kind of day Fitzpatrick can have.
Well, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, you never know. I really do like him as a quarterback. I love his spirit. I love his gunslinger mentality. But when it gets bad, it can be pretty bad. But I'll tell you, more often than not, he's on fire. He's going to make some good throws today.
Scott Chandler in motion. Fitzpatrick out of the gun gets to Spiller on the draw play. And this Cleveland defense waiting all week for this moment. Their shot at the NFL's leading runners so far through 2 weeks. Starters up front for Buffalo, a line that has yet to give up a sack. Eric Wood, their anchor in the middle, the 4th-year player out of Louisville. Backs and receivers featuring Stevie Johnson. Johnson still playing with the effects of that groin injury, underwent surgery in the offseason in May, but still bothersome at this early stage of the season. Johnson at the bottom of your picture. This is 2nd and 9. Fitzpatrick over the middle. It's caught Brad Smith making Donald Jones on the reception. That was Usama Young with a hard hit. And what a play by Jones to hold on to the football as he picks up 19.
The only reason this ball is completed is because the ball was on time to Donald Jones. And boy, what a great, tough catch. The ball a little bit behind him. Accuracy has been an issue for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's been throwing the ball behind his receivers quite a bit this year. But that ball was out on time. Donald Jones doing a great job pulling that ball in despite the big hit from Usama Young.
Jones last week just one reception, actually lost yardage in the win over Kansas City. Fitzpatrick's pass is tipped. And it'll be second down. Ataba Rubin, the fifth-year man out of Iowa State, able to deflect the pass at the line of scrimmage.
Ataba Rubin, you're going to see number 71 right there over the center. He can't get through Eric Wood, the center, so he says the next best thing is to obstruct the vision of the quarterback. Does a great job getting that big paw up in the air, because Ryan Fitzpatrick did have a receiver open right over the ball.
Penalty markers fly.
False start.
Look like Cordy Glenn.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And it is Glenn, the rookie, starting at that left tackle position. Take a look at the defensive starters. Billy Wynn suffering a concussion last Sunday in Cincinnati. Able to pass all his tests this week and has made the start today. D'Qwell Jackson, the middle linebacker, anchors this defense. Had a career day last Sunday. 3 sacks to go along with an interception and 5 tackles. I mentioned Usama Young making the start today in place of Eric Hagg, who has been demoted by Cleveland after an inauspicious performance last Sunday. Fitzpatrick able to find Stevie Johnson on the outside. They pick up 7 as Johnson is brought down at the 37.
And there's been some interesting developments in this Cleveland Browns secondary with the suspension of Joe Hayden. He's got a couple more weeks on the will not play list because of his violation of the substance abuse policy for the NFL. Sheldon Brown, number 24, he's kind of been splitting time with a couple other young cornerbacks out there, so there is matchup opportunity for Buffalo today.
Buffalo, one of the top third down teams early in the season so far. Brown showing blitz on 3rd and 8. Fitzpatrick goes sideline again. Johnson has the first down. Forced out of bounds by Sheldon Brown. He picks up 18 yards to the Cleveland 20.
One of the things to watch today, Spiro, especially early in this game, we talked about it with Ryan Fitzpatrick yesterday. Very important, he felt, to get Stevie Johnson involved in this game early. He got away with a little bit of a club on Sheldon Brown right there. And let's look at 3rd down conversions. One of the very best teams in the NFL this year. Buffalo at over 50%. That's a very high number right there. 3rd and long, that's a big conversion.
And that's where Johnson has done a lot of his damage in recent years. Has been one of the best 3rd down receivers in the NFL. Fitzpatrick, the spiller, trying to fight his way to the outside, forced out of bounds by the safety, T.J. Ward, after a pickup of 3 to set up a 2nd and 7. You mentioned the absence of Joe Hayden, and you wonder if Hayden was around last weekend, if they would have been able to go to Cincinnati and get the win. The front 7, Steve, in terms of this Cleveland defense, has been among the best in the NFL. Just the question marks in the secondary.
Exactly right. They gave up 2 big touchdowns in the passing game last week. A lot of young draft choices from the Cleveland Browns organization, playing well, learning how to play on the move, but boy, they have some talent up there.
This is 2nd and 8. Fitzpatrick can run. He has the first down inside the 10. Again, Donald Jones, who had such a quiet game last Sunday. Fitzpatrick said he was better off not suiting up in that game. Had 1 catch for -3 yards.
I've heard his stats, but this is what makes Ryan Fitzpatrick special, I think. The ability to extend the play, and he's going to take a couple chances. That right there was a lot of quarterbacks would have given up on trying to stick that ball in Donald Jones on the sideline, but he saw a flash, saw the 1 and the 9, and stuck that football right on him. It's a big play for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Donald Jones back in the state of Ohio, started Youngstown State. This is 1st and goal. Fitzpatrick over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. And it's the rookie T.J. Graham with his first NFL touchdown. 9 yards from Fitzpatrick, and Buffalo with the early lead.
What a great play. Well designed and perfectly executed. You're going to see T.J. Graham on the right side of the screen. He just clears down the middle of the field. It was a complete bust in coverage by the Cleveland Browns, but I think that was Chan Gailey. He saw something on film, put him in the right formation. The play came up perfectly. Give credit to everybody on that, coaches and players.
Ryan Lindell on for the point after. So T.J. Graham, the rookie out of NC State, third-round pick for Buffalo. Chan Gailey candidly said that he just wasn't ready on opening day, inactive, made his NFL debut last Sunday, and he's given Buffalo a 7-0 lead here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. This is the NFL on CBS. Well, T.J. Graham may have to work on his touchdown dance, but the rookie feeling awfully happy at this moment. His first NFL touchdown a week after he made his league debut. And Buffalo goes 8 plays, 58 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick 5 of 6 for 60 yards through the air to make it 7-0. Cribbs from about 7 yards deep in his own end zone finds a seam out past the 25, tripped up at the 27-yard line. After a return of 33 yards, so Brandon Weeden and company back onto the field when we come back to Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. McDonald's, value that's as smart as you are. And by TD Ameritrade.
Jim Brown in the house. He is royalty here in Cleveland. Hall of Famer, now 76 years of age. Looking on from his suite. Trent Richardson on first down, and he is hit from the back. That's Kyle Williams, one of the NFL's premier interior defensive linemen. Guy was still kind of under the radar.
Why is Kyle Williams as good as he is? Look at the effort. He has a motor that never stops. He went running after Ryan Fitzpatrick, turned around and came back and was in position to make the play on Trent Richardson when he tried to make that cutback.
Kyle Williams, a guy went from being a 5th-round pick in 06 out of LSU, 2-time Pro Bowler. Missed the final 11 games last season with that foot injury. This is 2nd and long. Pocket starts to collapse. Weeden nowhere to go, and he's sacked by guess who? Kyle Williams, as they dump him for -3.
And Kyle Williams had 2 sacks last week. This is 3rd sack of the season. The guy that's known primarily as a rush stopper. Great job by him putting pressure on the passer. Let's see what Brandon Weeden had trouble with. He couldn't find anybody open up the field. I do think that he's got to have a clock in his head telling him, you know what, I got to tuck this ball and run it, or I've got to get it away, find a place to throw that football away. He held the ball too long. He had very good protection in his own line on that play. If there's nobody open, you got to do something with the ball.
Browns going the wrong direction here. This is 3rd and 15. Weeden from the gun. Finds the tight end Watson, 2nd reception for him in the first quarter, out past the 30, but well short of the marker. And for the 2nd straight drive to open the day, Cleveland will punt. And once again, Steve, all the talk about how dangerous this front 4 is for Buffalo already having an impact on this game.
Yeah, they've come out ready to play. Mario Williams told us last week before his game against Kansas City that this defense had a sense of urgency. They wanted to make sure that no one questioned their toughness. They're playing well today.
Well, they had that disaster to open the season with the Jets 2 weeks ago. This is McKelvin again, so dangerous, has some real estate up the sideline. Lunges into Browns territory as he picks up 33 on the return after a 50-yard punt by Reggie Hodges. So Ryan Fitzpatrick will try to build on his 7-0 lead. First quarter in Cleveland. Stay with us. Brandon Weeden, one of 5 rookie starting quarterbacks around the NFL, leads us into our trending topics around the National Football League with hash marks and hashtags. Andrew Luck, that game-winning drive in the final minute last Sunday in the win over Minnesota. And what a start for RG3, 500 yards of passing. Ryan Tannehill getting in on the act. Big win for Miami. Russell Wilson, 75% completion percentage in the Seahawks victory against Dallas. C.J. Spiller spinning inside the 45, close to the 40. Tackle made by Frosty Tucker. We had a chance to visit with Brandon Weeden here on Friday, and he said the one thing those guys have, Steve, that I don't, is a win.
It's a W. That's exactly right. And Brandon Weeden, although he truly is a rookie, he's about 5 years older than each of those other rookies. He's 28 years old. He had a little stint in minor league baseball, but he still truly is a rookie in his NFL development. But it sure does, his maturity shows when you talk to him.
We told you about the rain here earlier. It's starting to come down again as the fans head for cover here. This is second and short. Spiller has the first down and more. Brought down at the 37, picks up 5 yards. Frosty Rucker on the stop. Rucker, the seventh-year player.
Spiller, you want to know what I think the biggest difference in C.J. Spiller? Watch the way he just pounds this ball up in there. He told us last week he had to train himself to understand that 2, 3, and 4 yard run right up the gut is not a bad run in the NFL. Right there's a great example. I think in his rookie year he would have tried to bounce that outside instead of just trying to push it up in there for a positive gain.
We saw the Wildcat numerous times last Sunday. Didn't have much success. Brad Smith trying to find the outside, lunges to the 30, and forced out of bounds by Tashawn Gibson on the play as Smith picks up 4, maybe 5.
And Chan Gailey did tell us yesterday that we were going to see, at least if this game goes according to his game plan, we were going to see quite a bit of the Wildcat today. To expect to see some of it depends obviously on the effectiveness of it. But remember, Brad Smith is a former quarterback. He can throw the football as well.
Chan told us it's not only about what kind of success they can have with it, but just keeping it as a viable option forces the opponent to spend valuable practice time against it. Here's Spiller inside the 10, and he's in. Spiller rumbles 32 yards, and Buffalo with a 13-0 lead.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a great play. Watch what Cleveland sees. They see all the flow. Watch right here. Here's C.J. Spiller. He's going to come from this side over, but look at all the receivers for the Bills on top to the right. There's nobody on the bottom side. Look at that. He's sitting there with nothing but green grass in front of him. A very well-designed play and then executed perfectly. I'm very impressed. These first 2 drives, the job Chan Gailey has done in attacking this Cleveland Browns defense, and the players stepping up and executing perfectly.
This offense reminiscent of those Bills teams in the early 90s so far. 32-yard pass play between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Spiller, and Buffalo with a similar start to the one we saw last Sunday against the Chiefs. 14-point lead with 5 and change left to play in his first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Whatever you want to do, Droid does. And by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
All Buffalo so far here in Cleveland, out in front 14-0. Watch fantasy football today. Get game time player news and active updates and help you set up your lineup. Chat with our experts every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. 24-hour home of CBS Sports and at cbssports.com/fantasy. 14-0. Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing career touchdown pass number 75. But Steve, it was C.J. Spiller doing most of the work.
Well, again, I think C.J. Spiller, if he's being 100% honest, would say you don't get as many easy touchdowns as that one. That was a pretty well-designed play.
32-yard pass play. And Buffalo in identical position they were in that 35-17 victory over the Chiefs. Cribbs fumbles it inside the 10. The official said he was down by contact. So the Browns will maintain possession, but they will be pinned very deep on their side of the field. So far, 2 3-and-outs on the play as Buffalo dominant early on here in Cleveland. This is the NFL on CBS. Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far. See the total offense with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Chan Gailey's Buffalo Bills out in front 14-0. As a challenge flag has been thrown, it looks like, by Chan Gailey. Rain continues to come down here.
He waited an awful long time to throw that flag. He could have done it during our break.
Buffalo is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down and there was no fumble.
Well, I guess maybe some gamesmanship from Chan.
Maybe so. I'm very surprised. They had plenty of time to look at it and discuss it. And I was wondering why it wasn't challenged during the break, but I think it's going to be hard to overturn that one, in my opinion.
Call on the field, down by contact. Buffalo challenging the call on the field, which was a down by contact situation. Josh Cribbs on the kick return. Let's get the official ruling here.
Because the ruling on the field was that the player was down and there was no fumble, that makes the play not reviewable. Buffalo is not charged with a timeout, and there'll be no penalty. It'll be first down, Cleveland, 19-yard line.
I think Chan Gailey is going to be happy it came out this way, because I don't believe this was a fumble. You're going to see right here the knee right there for Josh Cribbs. That is down on the ground. The ball is still in his possession. Then his left elbow hits before the ball comes out. I think both his knee and his elbow were down before the ball popped out.
Well, interesting to note, the official went over to the replay booth and was actually looking at it before they deemed that it was not even a reviewable play. Trent Richardson, negative yardage so far, picks up 3 there.
And that's one of those things, Spiro, when you talk about the referees. These obviously referees are doing the best they can. These are the replacement referees. I think that's an example where if it were the real NFL officials, probably would have known that right on the field. We could have saved ourselves that extra breakdown.
See the rain coming down still at this point. 2nd and 7. Richardson on the screen pass. He is ripped down from the back. Inside the 20, tackle made by the linebacker Nick Barnett, as Richardson picks up 6 to set up a 3rd and short.
There were a lot of Buffalo Bills getting to this football. They were hungry. Right there, number 99, Marcel Darius, overran his former teammate from the University of Alabama. And Marcel Darius, we talked to him yesterday. We asked him if he'd go easy on his buddy Trent Richardson. He said, well, I might lay him down a little softer than I would anybody else.
Played a couple of years together at Alabama. Richardson trying to get to the first down marker, and he's not even close. Had to get to the 19. And you can hear the boos here from these Cleveland fans. So 3 possessions to start this game, and they've gone 3 and out each time.
It just gets worse for Pat Shurmur and his offense. This Buffalo Bills defense really smelling the kill. They are not intimidated whatsoever by the front 5 of the Cleveland Browns, and the physical attitude they're bringing to the ball. Every single play is showing that.
Reggie Hodges has been a busy man already. Leotis McKelvin standing at his own 36. So low, short kick fielded by McKelvin at the 37. As Buffalo with a chance to build on this 2-touchdown lead. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Don't miss Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, and our Steve Berline on NFL Monday Quarterback tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Have you had any issues getting the word in with those guys? A lot of opinions on that set.
You know, with Phil Simms, it's always interesting. It's always hard to get a word in with that guy. He wants to comment on everything, but it really has been a lot of fun. We've had our first 2 shows, I think, getting better each week, and tune in and watch the show. I think you really enjoy it. We're having a lot of fun, I know that.
So 14-0 Buffalo here. And with the 3-minute mark of the quarter, Fitzpatrick, nice fake on the sold play action. A little shuffle pass to Spiller. Spiller looking for some more damage inside Cleveland territory. A marker is thrown, and it looks like Spiller is hurt. Writhing in pain. We saw one of his teammates immediately looking at the Buffalo training staff to come onto the field quickly. It was Usama Young, the man who made the tackle after a pickup of 25.
It looks like he's pointing to his shoulder. It's obviously you don't want to speculate as to what the injury is, but
Holding, offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Stevie Johnson on the penalty.
this is a significant injury. Again, don't want to speculate, but if it is, this would be Chan Gailey's worst nightmare, obviously without Fred Jackson already. Great play by Ryan Fitzpatrick to extend the play. He can get himself in trouble in these situations, but get the ball to C.J. Spiller, and usually good things happen. Fortunately, the way it ended up, he came down on that left shoulder, and that you can tell right away that something didn't feel right. Let's hope it's not anything overly significant, but that does not look good.
All 200 pounds of Usama Young coming down on Spiller's right shoulder.
Throwing that left shoulder into
left
the ground.
shoulder.
And a lot of times what happens, Spear, when that left elbow goes down and you're hit, the force with that weight on top of you just jars that shoulder joint so significantly that it can create some serious damage, some significant damage.
Well, Steve mentioned Buffalo being thin at the running back position. Tashard Choice is the backup. The 50-year veteran out of Georgia Tech, Johnny White, whom they signed before the Kansas City game a week ago. Our only other running back on the roster, and that certainly doesn't look good. Siller will be escorted into the Bills locker room, and they'll take a look at that left shoulder.
And that's just really bad news for Chan Gailey and this Buffalo offense. It's a shame. Just really having their coming out party these last couple weeks, getting C.J. Spiller in the mix. Tashard Choice, Chan Gailey very, very familiar with Tashard Choice. Coached him in college at Georgia Tech.
Graham in motion. This is Choice on 1st and 10. Choice signed towards the end of last season after Fred Jackson broke a bone in his leg. And now thrust into the spotlight here as you take a look at Spiller being worked on. Well, you have to consider the weather, Steve, this being a running type game. As you see what Spiller has done, just an epic start. Anytime you're in the company of Jim Brown, it's something to behold. Averaging better than 10 yards per carry over the first two games.
Buffalo, first team timeout.
Chan Gailey at this point just wants to regroup.
Timeout.
As they continue to look at Spiller, it's that left shoulder. Spiller, the NFL's rushing leader, also leads the league in yards from scrimmage after 2 games.
And there's nobody in this stadium or anywhere in the country more concerned than C.J. Spiller right now. It's a very scary feeling when you're a player riding off on a cart like that, not knowing the extent of an injury. You're just hoping that you're not going to be put in a position where you can't help your team for any significant period of time. Truly, that's what you're thinking about, thinking that you're letting down your teammates when you get hurt. It's just not a good feeling at all. Chan Gailey puts a lot more pressure on him and this whole Buffalo Bills team to make up for a loss like that.
So Choice now a lone setback. Chandler in motion on 2nd and 5. Fitzpatrick fakes the handoff. It's incomplete. Trying to go to Johnson.
Stevie Johnson looking for a flag there. He and Sheldon Brown, you saw earlier on the catch that Stevie Johnson made on the left side. He got a little physical with Sheldon Brown at the top of the route. Sheldon Brown right here. I understand what Stevie Johnson's upset about. Sheldon Brown is not supposed to be able to initiate contact with a wide receiver more than 5 yards up the field. That looked to me like it was very questionable.
Buffalo, one of the better 3rd down teams early in the season in the NFL. This is 3rd and 5. It's caught. That's the tight end Chandler inside Cleveland territory. They pick up 12 yards. Fitzpatrick talking about the trust that he has built with Chandler over the last season plus. A huge first down there.
This is a great read by Ryan Fitzpatrick. I want you to watch right here. DeQuell Jackson is the key. He's the read for Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're trying to bait him actually on the backside. I'm sorry. DeQuell Jackson breaking up on the ball. Ryan Fitzpatrick sees DeQuell Jackson. Does not bite on that throw. Throws it to Scott Chandler behind for a very nice conversion.
Second time we've seen a Wildcat. Brad Smith out of the shotgun looking to run. Nowhere to go. Moves forward. Tackle made by Craig Robertson. Smith picks up just 2. So we've seen Chan Gailey, Steve, continue to go to that formation with very little success through the first 2+ games.
But the reasoning behind that is because if the defense knows that it's part of your package, they've got to prepare for it. During the course of the week, a lot of times you're just showing just enough of it to make your next opponent realize they've got to consider it and spend time planning for it.
Ronald Jones in motion. This is 2nd and 8. Fitzpatrick again on the run, finds Chandler. Sliding at the 34, has another first down. Pick up 11 on that play, and Buffalo looking to build on this 14-0 lead.
It truly looks to this point to be a situation where Buffalo is able to do everything they want to. As we come to the end of the first quarter, Ryan Fitzpatrick, very strong start to this ball game.
That's the end of the first quarter with Buffalo out in front, 14-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Start of the second quarter here from Cleveland. Buffalo out in front, 14-0. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew with you on a rainy, chilly day. The story so far has been a Buffalo team dominant over the first 15 minutes, but now the concern on C.J. Spiller, NFL's leading rusher, being evaluated in the Buffalo locker room with what appears to be a left shoulder injury. We'll try to get an update as quickly as we can. So now Tashard Choice, a workhorse for Buffalo. Let's get an update as we send you to New York.
Good recognition by Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he lived by the bridge, he died by the bridge. Andy Dalton right here finds Armand Benz, missed tackle, 48 yards, and Cincinnati goes up 14-7.
Let's take it back to Spiro Dedes and Steve Berline, Monday morning QB.
J.B. Banks. Buffalo trying to regroup quickly here after being jarred a bit with the Spiller injury. 2nd and 11. This is Choice again. Inside the 30. Brought down at about the Cleveland 26 after a pickup of 10.
Well, the good news, Spiro, is twofold for Chan Gailey in this situation. No positive way to spin the C.J. Spiller injury right now, but the only solace that Chan Gailey can take is that he's got Tashard Choice, who he knows he can count on. But secondly, and more importantly, he told us yesterday in our meeting that Fred Jackson may be coming back to practice, probably is going to come back to practice this week. They're hoping he'll be available to them next week.
Jackson going down with that LCL strain in his knee on opening day against the Jets, as Buffalo picks up its 9th first down as Choice lunges forward for 2.
And initially, Chan Gailey told us last week that they thought the Fred Jackson injury was going to be a 5 to 8 week deal. He's been rehabbing very well, and it's been healing up much better than expected. So they're cautiously optimistic about the fact that Fred Jackson may become available to them much quicker than they originally thought.
That's Brandon Weeden. He's been on that sideline an awful long time. Browns have gone 3 and out. They're only 3 possessions so far. This is 1st and 10 from the 23. Fitzpatrick just throws it into the turf. Steve not trying to do anything crazy.
Well, that was another creative attempt at a screen pass to Corey McIntyre that time, and this time Cleveland picks it up very well. Look at number 38 right there, setting in, trying to, and that was picked up very well by Jabal Sheard. He read it coming and was in great position to deny Ryan Fitzpatrick access to Corey McIntyre. One of the few positive plays to this point by the Browns defense.
Fitzpatrick play action. He moves the sack. Calls his own number, and again, Fitzpatrick, a quarterback who just refuses to slide. Continues to take those punishing hits. Buster screen on the tackle. Jacksonville, Indianapolis. An update as we go to New York.
Spiro, rookie to rookie.
Yeah, how about this throw by Andrew Luck? He's going to find T.Y. Hilton on a rope, 40 yards, 6 plays, 74 yards, 7-3, Indianapolis.
Back to Spiro and Steve.
I think that guy's got a chance, that Andrew Luck kid. He's made some great throws already in his career.
Colts trying to make it 2 wins in as many weeks. Big 3rd and 5 play for this Cleveland defense. Fitzpatrick's pass deflected on the throw. Brown saying it was a fumble. Call on the field is incomplete pass. So it'll be 4th down.
Well, let's look, Spear. I'm not sure if this was a fumble or just a ball that slips out of his hand. It just slipped right out of his hand. So it's definitely an incomplete pass. The arm's coming forward. That's the key.
Steve, that may be closer than you think.
Well, the arm's coming forward. I don't think they're going to overturn that. It's going to be an incomplete pass.
Challenge flag has been thrown out by Pat Shurmur. So the call on the field is an incomplete pass, though they'll need conclusive video evidence to overturn. As we'll get a timeout. 14-0 Buffalo here in Cleveland. Second challenge situation in this game. Call on the field is an incomplete pass. Pat Shurmur challenging that it was a fumble on the play.
And the ball was recovered by Jukwa Parker, so if they do overturn it, it will be Cleveland's ball. I just feel like the arm was moving forward.
The ruling on the field is reversed. The quarterback, his hand came through empty. Therefore, it is a fumble. Cleveland had an immediate recovery, but cannot advance. Therefore, it is Cleveland's ball, 20-yard line, and the left hash mark.
Well, Spiro,
no clock adjustment.
I've got to concede to you. I didn't think there was any question about it, in my opinion, but you obviously know more than I do about this stuff. The arm's coming forward. It's not a matter of when. I just believe the ball was squirting out of his hand as the arm was coming forward, but that doesn't mean I'm infallible, that's for sure.
So Jukwa Parker falling on the football, and this exactly the kind of break that the Browns needed, down 14-0 here. And give credit to Pat Shurmur, spotted it very quickly. Brandon Weeden meantime onto the field. They've had 3 possessions, 3 3-and-outs. Desperately trying to get some offense going. Weeden over the middle, completes to the rookie, make a second-year tight end Jordan Cameron out of USC. You talked about him at the top. A pickup of 12 yards, and finally, Cleveland moves the chains.
Well, this is the time where Brandon Weeden and company need to kind of assert themselves. And I know Brandon Weeden's a rookie, but he's got to step up and show right now that he can handle. He's up to the task of getting this thing turned around.
Weeden on first down. The pass is complete inside Buffalo territory to the rookie Travis Benjamin. 21 yards through the air. So the turnover giving the Browns a little shot in the arm they needed.
This is really a nice throw. Good rhythm by Brandon Weeden. Of course, it all starts with the pocket. He had a great pocket to step and throw, and then a nice route on the outside by Travis Benjamin. 2 good completions in a row.
See Weeden's numbers. This is Richardson, non-factor so far. Gang tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Nick Barnett got there first. Again, if you've just joined us, C.J. Spiller being looked at in the Buffalo locker room with what appears to be a left shoulder injury. Still no official word on Spiller's injury. Certainly looks to be something substantial. This is 2nd and 10. Richardson breaks the first tackle from Mario Williams. Banged down at the 45 after a pickup of 2.
That's a situation I like what Pat Shurmur's doing, sticking with the run game. This game is not out of hand yet whatsoever. You get a 2nd and long situation, you expect the opposing team, Buffalo, the same as anybody else, they're going to play that 2-deep defense where as an offense, you expect to be able to run. You know you have to be able to run in that 2nd and long situation, try and get a manageable 3rd down. That time, Buffalo won the battle.
Chris Ogbonnaya comes onto the field for Richardson here on 3rd and 8. Weeden's pass incomplete. Trying to find Massaquoi. Terrence McGee on the coverage, and the Browns will punt.
I think that was a misread by Brandon Weeden, but the one thing that Mohamed Massaquoi could have done, and what he should have done, knowing that corner was sitting outside, he should have choked his motor a little bit and shown his numbers to Brandon Weeden so he wouldn't lead him outside into that hit.
Reggie Hodges from his own 45. Their catch signaled by McKelvin at his own 10. 34-yard punt as Buffalo up 14-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. E-Trade, works beautifully. And by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
Well, Steve Sable passing away earlier this week, NFL legend. As we welcome you back here to Cleveland. Speaking of the NFL, Jimmy Haslam, the, I guess, incoming owner, we could call it. Cleveland Browns, kind enough to give us a couple of minutes here. Jimmy, certainly not the position you wanted this team to be in, but just talk about the excitement level and what the process has been like for you as we take a look at Buffalo here on first down.
It's been outstanding. The NFL, as you guys know a lot better than I do, is, of course, a huge deal. And football here in northeastern Ohio and Cleveland is just the intensity and the love of football by the fans is incredible. We'd heard about it, but until we got here, there's no way you could experience it.
Well, the big day coming up, October 16th, is the official vote by the NFL owners. What are the things that you're looking forward to most about getting past that date?
I don't know that anything will change dramatically, Steve, on that date. We're right in the middle of the season, so we've been asking questions and listening and learning as much as we possibly can to try to get up to speed in the NFL business.
Fitzpatrick finds Stevie Johnson for a Buffalo first down against C.J. Spiller. We're still waiting official word on what appears to be a left shoulder injury. Jimmy, I just want to know one thing. How does a man who was a minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers become the head man in charge of the Cleveland Browns?
Everybody asks me that here. You know, it's first of all, we feel very fortunate to have been associated with the Rooney family and the Steelers for 4 years. Great people and great experience, but we have no trouble trading in our black and gold for orange and brown. And what I've told everybody is we need to restore this rivalry to where it used to be instead of 2-22 like we are now.
One of the things that we were informed by Neil Golkas here in the PR department for the Browns is that you wanted to spend a little bit of time in the dog pound when you first got here, and we heard that happened. How did it go down there?
We did do that. We sat in the first quarter, I guess, the Eagles exhibition game. Great experience. Those are your true fans there. I had people come up and say, I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years, for 30 years, for 40 years. And, of course, I think everybody that lived in Cleveland was at the 1964 championship game. I haven't heard anybody. The stadium must have seated 600,000 or 700,000 people.
Fitzpatrick works from the shotgun here. Chandler in motion. This is 2nd and 8 from the Buffalo 25. The screen pass set up for Tashard Choice. Choice, the workhorse now with the injury to Spiller. Tackle made by T.J. Ward after a pickup of 4. Jimmy, we see NFL owners, there's some kind of stay in the shadows, others a little bit more high profile. What will be your approach once you become the official owner here next month?
You know, that's a great question. I'd say somewhere in between. I don't think you'll see us down on the sidelines, but we will be involved and hopefully working to turn this franchise around to where the Cleveland Browns fans deserve it to be.
It's a big play here defensively for the Browns, 3rd and 3. As we come up on 7 minutes to play before halftime. Fitzpatrick hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Pressure coming right up the gut. It was Jabal Sheard getting there. So the Browns defense holds its ground, and the Buffalo Bills will punt.
Well, one of the things, and not to get too technical or into it, one of the things that as you come into this, you have to be excited about is that you do have such a nucleus of good young players. One of the youngest teams in the league. A lot of high draft choices, but there's a lot of young talent on this ball club to kind of build around.
I think that's right, Steve. I think we have the nucleus of a really good offensive line. Brandon, of course, played much better last week than he did the first week. And, having played the position that quarterback is the key, and if he can come through, that puts us in good shape. And of course, we've got a great running back in Trent, and our wide receivers are all young. So the nucleus is there on offense. Probably need a little help on defense. Obviously, Joe missing 4 games. Joe Hayden hurts us dramatically.
Mr. Haslam, we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes, and best of luck to you.
Thanks for having us up, guys.
All right, Jimmy Haslam, the incoming owner of the Cleveland Browns, giving us a couple of minutes here. Buffalo out in front, 14-0. Cleveland still being shut out so far, 14-0. With 6:53 to play, second quarter. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew with you. Rain has been coming down off and on right from the start. Finds Cribbs on first down. Cribbs has some room inside Buffalo territory. Brought down from the back by Nick Barnett, but not before Cribbs picks up 23.
Well, nice blocks on that play from Joe Thomas, a big left tackle, and then Greg Little, wide receiver. Both of them got out front. The timing was very good. Josh Cribbs got that ball with some room, and as we all know, when Josh Cribbs gets the ball in the open field with some room, he can be pretty dangerous.
Still awaiting for official word on the injury to C.J. Spiller, but we have been told that he will not return as they continue to look at his left shoulder. Spiller, the NFL's leading rusher. Major headliner so far. It's Chris Ogbonnaya inside the 40. We'll pick up 3 there. Tackle made by Justin Rogers, and Steve Trent Richardson learning what it's like to be a running back in the NFL. He's up 1 week and right now down the next.
Well, he's a physical runner, but even a very aggressive physical runner like Trent Richardson, if the front four are getting dominated up front, there's no seams. These guys can close gaps and they bring some pop, and that's the way it's been for Trent Richardson so far today.
Richardson, 3rd overall pick. A delay handoff here. Richardson churning out a couple of more yards, brought down at the 37. And Richardson, Steve, actually addressed the team before practice on Wednesday, but the way he went about doing it was what really impressed Pat Shurmur and his teammates here. He actually approached DeQuell Jackson to ask permission to talk to the team, and he did it before they took the practice field Wednesday.
To me, that's a sign of a rookie that just gets it. A lot of times, you know, there was a big issue last year with Cam Newton coming out, kind of calling out his teammates publicly. Trent Richardson came out, did it the right way. Went to the veterans and said, I would like to be able to speak to the team, just share my thoughts, and I think it went over very well.
This is 3rd and 4. Wheaton hit as he throws. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Jairus Byrd. There's a penalty marker at the 27. Byrd, a man who was a question mark whether or not he would even play today. An ankle injury sustained last Sunday as we await the penalty.
Well, Brandon Wheaton might get away with this one because I believe the penalty is going to be on Buffalo. But he's got to learn you can't stare down receivers like that. Jairus Byrd is one of the best ball hawks in the NFL. Knew exactly where that ball was going.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's a shame because Aaron Williams making that initial, that contact on the outside, I really don't think it had any bearing on the completion of the pass. You see right here, there is a physical release there, but he's kind of hanging on him. A little bit of a push, yeah, I mean, that definitely was significant to the play. That push right there at the end allowed Jairus Byrd to dive in front and make that interception. I believe Jairus Byrd was ball hawking that thing either way. He was going to make that play.
Not only negates the interception, it gives Cleveland a 1st and 10. Wheaton throwing down the sideline. It's incomplete. Excellent recovery late. Aaron Williams on the coverage of Massaquoi. Looked like Muhammad had a step, but Williams able to get a mid on it.
You know, I put this on Brandon Wheaton. Massaquoi is open right now. He's got to step on Aaron Williams. This ball's got to be up a little bit more trajectory and over the top. Massaquoi knows it. He saw the reaction. He knew that's as good a chance up the field as you're going to get for a big play. That's a big opportunity as you can expect to get. Let's just say it that way. Every once in a while you might get a bust, but that ball needs to be put on the money by Brandon Wheaton.
Massaquoi in motion. Play whistle dead. False start against Cleveland. Well, they look like an 0-team.
False start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Look like a winless team at this point. Reminder coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by in New York. All the latest scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
One of the things, Spiro, that Pat Shurmur told us was that the frustrations of things happening, bad things happen at the wrong time. Penalties at the wrong time. That right there, a great example.
Play action, 2nd and 15, completes. That's Jordan Cameron, second catch for him today. They pick up 17. Steve, you talked about Dante Rosario last week for the Chargers as your fantasy sleeper. You had Cameron today.
Well, I'll tell you, I was at practice on Friday, and I knew with the injury to Alex Smith that put Jordan Cameron in position to get some balls, and they were really doing some unique things, especially as we get into the red zone here. Number 84 was a big part of their practice plan on Friday.
Alex Smith out today with a concussion. Wrapped up and sacked. Mario Williams gets there first for Buffalo, his first sack as a member of the Bills, a loss of 6.
And that, to Mario Williams, I guarantee you, is a huge relief. He's been getting a little bit of flack in Buffalo for not really showing up in the statistical chart that much, but I guarantee you, those defenses or those offenses he's going up against, they know where Mario Williams is all the time. He's controlling the protection schemes right there to break free and make the sack is big for him.
Williams for his second straight week wearing a cast on that left wrist. As markers fly again.
I think Kyle Williams is the guilty culprit on that one.
Encroachment on the defense. Number 93. 5 yards. Still second down.
They actually called it on Mark Anderson, but I believe it was Kyle Williams. Number 95. You're going to see right, the second man in right there. He's the one that jumped in. Mario Williams trying to imply that Kyle Williams was enticed to move, but not the case.
Can't appreciate Williams' just sheer size, Steve, until you sit next to him.
He is a big, big man.
Looks like a timeout taken here by Pat Shurmur in Cleveland. It's such a critical part of this game. Browns down 14-0. Buffalo will receive the football to start the second half.
Timeout. Cleveland. First team timeout.
Pat Shurmur back to the drawing board. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the NFL by visiting NFL.com/Espanol, official Spanish league home of the NFL, for game highlights, fantasy football, and a first look at your team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. Back with you from Cleveland.
Watch that matchup right there. That's Jordan Cameron on his rookie, Stephon Gilmore.
Weeden over the middle, finds Massaquoi sliding to the 5. That's enough for a Browns first down. They pick up 15 to set up a first and goal.
This is a really nice throw by Brandon Weeden. That ball, it's tough to get that ball accurate on the money out of the gun that quickly. You got to catch the ball from the center, find the threads, and deliver the ball on time, on the money. Really nice throw in a tight window by Brandon Weeden there.
Steve, what if you're Pat Shurmur here? Do you try to slow things down? You've got 2 timeouts. You still have the 2-minute warning. Plenty of time. You don't want to give Buffalo too much time.
Well, I think the key is just keep an up-tempo pace. You don't try and force it. You're in a good position right now. You don't want to have a bad play with a young quarterback.
Cameron in motion. As time throws corner of the end zone. It's incomplete. Cameron covered by the safety, George Wilson, on the play. It'll be second and goal.
Very nice coverage by George Wilson. You see, there goes Jordan Cameron in motion, and George Wilson just takes away the inside, does not give Brandon Weeden a place to put that football. I think he was trying to give him a kiss there afterwards. The face mask got in the way.
This Buffalo defense trying to hold its ground. Weeden to Richardson. Bounces to the outside. Touchdown! And Cleveland back in business as Richardson punches it in from 6.
When you're the third pick in the draft, this is the kind of play you expect. This play was absolutely stuffed at the point of attack by Buffalo. Look at Trent Richardson, bounces it up in there and does not get flustered, does not panic, trusts himself, feels a soft spot backside, and then takes it to the promised land in the end zone.
Richardson had 2 touchdowns last Sunday. His first one today. Longest run of the day for Richardson. Point after makes it a 7-point game with 2:12 to play before halftime.
What I like about this, Spiro, is that he gave it a chance. The play was designed to go up inside. He was patient, took it up in there, got the whole Buffalo defense to react and converge and compress, and then he's got the physical ability to bounce that thing back outside, get into the end zone. Very good individual effort right there. Didn't have a lot of help up front. Looked like Buffalo really caused a lot of problems at the point of attack.
We had a chance to sit with Trent on Friday. He was not only excited about this game, was also pumped to have a chance to meet Jim Brown this weekend. Brown in the building today. Legendary Browns running back, Hall of Famer. Brown made those now infamous comments after Cleveland drafted Richardson with the 3rd overall pick in April, that he looked at Richardson as just an ordinary player. Rephrased some of what he said after what Trent did last Sunday. But you talk about how impressive Trent is. A lot of young guys would not handle a slight like that, even from a guy like Jim Brown. But Trent has said all the right things. Just a very impressive young guy as Jim Brown looks on.
Very impressive the way that he handles himself in general. But that issue in particular, I could not believe how well he handled it.
Touchback, Leotis McKelvin takes a knee in his own end zone. Speaking of Jim Brown, he's in Cleveland Browns Stadium for the first time in more than 2 years, ending a boycott. As we take a look at some of the all-time highlights of perhaps the greatest football player ever. 12,000 yards rushing, inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 1971. Jim Brown immortalized here. He'll take part in a halftime ceremony. 2 of his ex-teammates being inducted into the Browns Legends Club here. So plenty of time for Buffalo. Still the 2-minute warning. The pass nearly intercepted. It was deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it hit Dimitri Patterson right between the 2 and 1 on his jersey.
And you want to know why the Cleveland Browns have lost 8 straight games. It's plays like this. If you want to win a ball game, you don't get these opportunities very often. Dimitri Patterson will score on that play if he can just find a way to bring it in. He's in perfect position. The ball hits him right in the hands. He knows it. He's probably going to have a cakewalk to the end zone. Instead, it's just Buffalo ball.
It was Billy Wynn, the rookie out of Boise State, getting a hand on it. Fitzpatrick again has his pass deflected, and once again it's Billy Wynn.
And Billy Wynn, the rookie 6th-round draft choice out of Boise State, look at him dropping back into coverage and then seeing Ryan Fitzpatrick break contain and athletic enough to get up and get in that passing lane. Great job.
Ryan Fitzpatrick started the day 6 of 7, but he's just 4 of his last 11. This is T.J. Graham, scored Buffalo's first touchdown. He's short of the first down marker. Late hit by Jackson, and a marker is thrown.
I think they need to wave this flag off because I know exactly what happened. They're going to call a late hit, but T.J. Graham was still trying to run with the football. And even though the whistle had blown, Cleveland was just reacting. It was not a malicious late hit whatsoever. Hopefully they'll come out of it with the right conclusion. I really don't think this is a situation where a penalty should be called.
After the ball was dead, personal foul against the defense. Late hit, number 52. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
And Pat
That's
Shurmur,
the 2-minute warning. Timeout.
Pat Shurmur says, how can you do this to me? We're just getting some momentum. We make a good stop. DeQuell Jackson didn't mean anything. Just trying to make a play.
Oh, just a back-breaking penalty on that man, DeQuell Jackson. Late hit personal foul. It appeared as though Cleveland was about to force Buffalo to punt. Would have had the football back with just under 2 minutes to play, down 7 here. As the momentum is starting to turn. Fitzpatrick on first down finds Donald Jones down past the 45. Good pickup on first down. 6, maybe 7.
Buffalo's got 2 timeouts remaining. Plenty of time.
Officially a 2nd and 4. Jones has the first down. Another marker comes in. Patterson on the coverage as Jones picks up 21.
Well, they're going to call Donald Jones for pushing off on this one, Spiro, against tight coverage.
Pass interference, offense, number 19. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Very good coverage in the slot by Dimitri Patterson, and just a little shove at the top of the route by Donald Jones.
Jones, a very quiet day last Sunday, as we mentioned earlier.
But back to that penalty, though, Spiro, where we got a second. At DeQuell Jackson, definitely, the whistle had blown. He had plenty of time to react and understand the situation. You play through the whistle, and that's it. So, by rule, it was definitely a penalty.
2nd and 14 after the penalty. He finds Rashard Choice out of the backfield. Another marker comes in from the secondary. Choice picks up only 3. And suddenly this game has come to a grinding halt.
Holding, offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Stevie Johnson.
And you're going to see Stevie Johnson at the bottom of the screen right there, grabbing a hold of, pushing Buster Screen. And these penalties are really working in Cleveland's favor as well. Now you got a 2nd and long situation, but no time running off the clock on the last 2 plays because they're offensive penalties.
Again, keep in mind Buffalo will have the football to start the second half. If you just joined us, C.J. Spiller leaving this game with a left shoulder injury. Will not return, nothing official on what the injury is specifically.
If you look for a screen pass or a draw here.
Fitzpatrick finds his man again. It's Jones. Clock continues to run. They pick up 4. It'll be 3rd and long. Tackle made by Sheldon Brown. Pat Shurmur will take a timeout.
Timeout. Cleveland. Second team timeout. 30-second timeout.
Well, here was the penalty earlier on DeQuell Jackson as Cleveland had stuffed Buffalo on 3rd down. And then after the play ends, Jackson with that late hit.
He knew right away that he should not have made the contact. I don't think there was any malicious intent whatsoever, but let's listen to the whistle here on this one. So plenty of time, but there's that human element, the reaction where he got over there a little bit late, didn't see TJ Graham, and all of a sudden he just sees him flash in front of him. He just reacted, and you know, you got as a 7-year veteran leader of this defense, you can't make that kind of mistake.
Jackson spending all 6 years of his career here in Cleveland. Player who has never experienced the NFL playoffs. But he has become the anchor of this defense. Bills just trying to keep the clock running. Rashard Choice on a draw play. About 7-8 yards short of the marker. They pick up 11. As Pat Shurmur will take a timeout. It's their final timeout with 63 seconds remaining in the second. Minor coming up, the Verizon halftime report. Guys standing by in New York, JP, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Get you updated around the league here in week 3. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Buffalo at 1-1. Cleveland trying to break through 0-2. This Browns defense again, Steve, forced to play without Joe Hayden. Second of a 4-game league-mandated suspension. What a loss he's been. But the Browns hanging around. They were down 14-0 early.
Cleveland's going for the block here.
Brian Moorman on the punt. And it looks like a false start penalty.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Now, having showed the attempt at blocking the punt there, right there, gained Cleveland 5 more yards. I would expect that Cleveland will now try and set up a return for one of the very best return men in the business in Josh Cribbs.
We have seen some crazy weather so far today. It was coming down hard in terms of the rain. And now the sun peeks through the clouds. Moorman boots it away from his own 29. Big signals for the fair catch. Let's see where the officials were spotted here. Spotted at about the 34-yard line. So Brandon Weeden and company onto the field, down 7. In 2 days, can't miss the premiere of Vegas. Dennis Quaid, Michael Chiklis. Premieres 10/9 Central. Tuesday night, only CBS. So here comes Weeden now, 58 seconds on the clock. They go 3 wides here on 1st and 10. Draw play, Chris Ogbonnaya. Comes in off a career-high 73 yards last Sunday against the Bengals.
Looks like Mark Anderson is hurt for Buffalo, but got himself up there. Yeah.
Or a little gamesmanship. So Darius late to get up. Here's Weeden, 2nd and 4. Goes towards the sideline. It's nearly intercepted, and then Little nearly had the catch. Right through the hands of Justin Rogers. It'll be 3rd and 4.
That is a throw that you cannot make at any level as a quarterback. Brandon Weeden knows better than that. A crossing route with tight man coverage has got to be thrown somewhere near the middle of the field. If you put that ball up with the receiver getting close to the sideline, that defender is in perfect position to jump in front of it and take it at that angle, take it all the way back for a touchdown.
Well, I'm not sure after that throw, you don't take a knee if you're Pat Shurmur.
It makes it hard to call the next play.
30 seconds to play. Weeden on his back foot through the hands of Little. That's one that Little should have had. So after the Browns had appeared to take the momentum back, they go 3 and out, will punt.
And Little had room to run after this throw, Spiro, too. Look at that. There's nobody anywhere near him. Nobody you can even see in our picture there. He would have caught that and picked up at least another 10 to 15 yards before even having to deal with somebody on the other team.
Fifth punt on the day for Wedge Damages, but Kelvin signals fair catch as Buffalo will have it from inside their own 20. Well, speaking of the crazy weather here on the banks of Lake Erie, how about the last time these two teams played in this stadium?
Oh, Steve Tasker, what in the world is going on there, buddy?
Steve Tasker's a brave man. 2007, just brutal conditions here, 2 inches of snow. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour during the game. Brian Moorman couldn't control that unreachable snap. Phil Dawson sealing it with a 49-yard field goal. How about that kick in that kind of weather?
8-0.
Nothing stupid.
Driving rains here earlier today. Now the sun beaming down on the field. Critical injury to C.J. Spiller. He will not return. A left shoulder injury. Still waiting official word on. Buffalo jumped out to a 14-0 lead before Cleveland was able to put 7 on the board. and cut their deficit down to 7. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 158 yards through the air. Rashard Choice coming on in relief of Spiller with 30 yards on the ground. Your score, Buffalo 14 and Cleveland 7. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Back in Cleveland, start of the second half, where Buffalo leads the Cleveland Browns 14-7. Time now to take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Ryan Fitzpatrick over the middle to the rookie T.J. Graham, his first career touchdown grab to give Buffalo a 7-0 lead at that point. They jumped out on him 14-0. C.J. Spiller, the long screen pass for 6. At that point, Buffalo was flying high. As we welcome you back to the NFL on CBS, Spiro Dedes and Steve Berline. The injury to Spiller, of course, kind of darkening what Buffalo did. And now really this is anyone's game here as we get set for the second half.
It really is. You look at what happened in the first half. Complete domination by Buffalo through the first quarter and a half. And then the injury obviously played a big part in what was going on. But then Cleveland got a late score. But to talk about what happened, this is one of the flashes that C.J. Spiller was able to show. The screen pass very well set up, and then the injury, getting driven down onto that left shoulder. You could tell right away it was serious, significant. They carted him off inside, and then Cleveland got a little bit of momentum going toward the end of the first half. Trent Richardson's touchdown, forcing it up inside, and then having the ability to bounce it outside. Very important that Cleveland got on that scoreboard before the first half ended. Now it's very important the second half that Brandon Weeden step up and command this team and get them to believe that they can find a way to win this football game. 14-7, one score, not a big deal at all.
Buffalo will receive the football to start the second half. As Ryan Fitzpatrick looks on, Phil Dawson, a kick from his own 35. Weather has been up and down. It started with a downpour kickoff time and the sun peeking through the clouds late in the second quarter. We'll see what Mother Nature has in store for us here over the final 2 quarters. The return of 32 yards by McKelvin. Steve, we take a look at the first half stats.
Yeah, you look at it, really, this number right here has got to change for Cleveland. They've got to be able to run the football, take some of the pressure off of Brandon Weeden. That's been the key. Buffalo has been controlling the line of scrimmage with the exception of the one score that Cleveland got. This has been a physical domination up front by Buffalo, and that's got to change in the second half if they want to get any rhythm offensively for Cleveland.
Here's Richardson, just 10 yards on 8 rushes after he ran for 109 last Sunday in Cincinnati. Fitzpatrick gives to Rashard Choice. Stepping in for the vacated spot now by C.J. Spiller, who's done for the day. Rashard Choice, the 50-year man out of Georgia Tech, played under Chan Gailey during his time with the Yellow Jackets. Stints with both the Cowboys and the Skins.
And he's a very versatile back. He can do a lot of different things. He's shown over the course of his career that he can be counted on. He protects the football, and he has the ability to pop a big one if you give him a chance.
Second and 5, Fitzpatrick's pass off the hands of Johnson, and a late marker comes in. Coverage by Sheldon Brown. Brown played just 1 snap last week, suffered that double stinger in week 1 against Philadelphia.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. Penalty places the ball at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Stevie Johnson and Sheldon Brown have been going at it pretty physical all day. And right there, immediately you know that Sheldon Brown was lined up more than 5 yards off the ball, so there can be no contact outside of that 5-yard chuck zone. He was hanging on Stevie Johnson, no doubt about that call. Sheldon Brown's been in the league 11 years. He knows better than that.
Fitzpatrick with the pitch to Choice inside Cleveland territory. Goes head over heels on that play. Tackle made by Gibson, the rookie safety out of Wyoming, after Choice picks up 9.
Good misdirection. Watch, all the flow is going to go to Ryan Fitzpatrick's right, faking a reverse, and then you get Rashard Choice on the edge. He's the only guy going the other way, and you're just trying to get Cleveland to hesitate just for a minute, show a little bit of reaction toward that right side, and you Tashard Choice has the edge on the outside. Good positive 9-yard gain.
Steve mentioned earlier Fred Jackson, who's been out since week 1 against the Jets, expected to return to practice this week, according to Chan Gailey. As Buffalo keeps it on the ground and pick up the first down and more. Choice right through the teeth of the defense for 8, and a Buffalo first down.
What you're giving up with Tashard Choice in relation to T.J. Spiller is the big play. That is the big difference. The game-changing play, the speed that you just cannot account for. But Tashard Choice can do everything that Chan Gailey wants his running back to do. Just not quite the explosive option as C.J. Spiller.
Here's our first look now at Johnny White, the only other healthy running back on this Buffalo roster. White takes the handoff, lunges inside the 30. It's Buffalo with an excellent second half opening drive here. Patterson makes the tackle, but White very close to the first down marker.
And White only on the team because of the injury to Fred Jackson, and showing that he can be counted on as well.
Steve, so much talk about C.J. Spiller, not enough talk about what this Bills offensive line has done. They've yet to allow a sack over the first 2+ games of Fitzpatrick. And once again, they're blocking these guys. It doesn't matter who's in the backfield. Fitzpatrick play action, second and short. Finds Johnson right at the 20. Pick up 7 more yards and a Buffalo first down. Buster Skrine on the tackle.
Well, this is a pretty darn solid offensive unit. The offensive line, when you talk about them, look at them in relation to what the San Francisco 49ers and Miami Dolphins are doing per carry. Very impressive average, leading the NFL.
Draw play, Fitzpatrick giving the choice. T.J. Ward, also DeQuell Jackson in on the tackle. And his Choice picks up just 1.
When you talk about that O-line too, Spiro, you got Eric Pears, who's an 8-year veteran. Other than that, you've got 3 4-year players in right guard Craig Urbick, center Eric Wood, left guard Andy Levitre, and then the rookie Cordy Glenn, second-round draft choice out of Georgia, who, by the way, is playing at a very high level. As a left tackle, you never know what to expect. You're going to go through the learning experience, but he's playing very well.
Cordy Glenn, the 41st overall pick in the NFL draft. Johnson unable to make the catch where it looked as though he had it. Sheldon Brown on the tackle. On the coverage.
This is a very nice break on the football by Sheldon Brown. Stevie Johnson did not complete the act of catching that football. That's why it was ruled incomplete. He had both hands on it. He came down with 1 foot, but did not get that ball tucked away and make a football move.
This is Brown's team that is not built to play from behind, desperately trying to hold Buffalo to 3 here.
Stevie Johnson right here, one-on-one.
Fitzpatrick going end zone. It's incomplete. Johnson has made his bones on 3rd down the last couple of years as Buffalo will attempt the field goal.
Well, this should have been a touchdown pass. Ryan Fitzpatrick would love to have this one back. Same thing Brandon Weeden did earlier. Did not put enough air on that football. Stevie Johnson was behind Buster Skrine right there for a touchdown. If that ball's up and over, it's 7 points for Buffalo, or at least 6. Don't know about the extra point, but Stevie Johnson knows he had a chance right there, and I'm sure Ryan Fitzpatrick is kicking himself about that one.
This will be Ryan Lindell from 36 officially. Ryan Morman the holder. Plenty of leg, and it's good. So give that Cleveland defense some credit. They limit them to 3 points. It's a 2-score game here. Buffalo out in front by 10. Buffalo 17, Cleveland 7. Those Birds are on the field to play. You guys may be in some trouble here in a moment. As we welcome you back to Cleveland Brown Stadium, Spiro Dedes, Steve Beuerlein with you. 36-yard field goal by Ryan Lindell gives the Bills a 17-7 lead with 10:38 remaining. Early stages of this third quarter. Brandon Weeden and company down 14 earlier, now down 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by the all-new 2013 Ford Escape. It's what happens when you go further.
Browns fans trying to brave the elements here. We've had driving rain, we've had sun, and wind gusts now starting to become a factor. Brandon Weeden, the rookie quarterback, gives it to Richardson. Usually a smart move on first down. Jairus Byrd, the safety, brings him down after a pickup of 15, but a marker.
Offense, 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Joe Thomas, the Pro Bowl tackle, 5-time Pro Bowl tackle, not very happy about it. He's right here on the left side. Let's see what he does. There's a very nice hole for Trent Richardson that very well blocked, probably the best blocked run of the day. And I'll tell you what, that's a tough one to call. If you're calling that one, you can call it pretty much every time they run the football. Joe Thomas got it, had a nice fit, had his head on the right side, the correct side of the defender, had control of him. I don't know if I throw a flag on that situation.
Thomas, the start of his Cleveland offensive front. Pro Bowler in each of his 5 seasons. After the penalty, it's 1st and 17. Richardson through the air this time. Breaks the initial tackle out past the 20. So he gets past the original line of scrimmage. Stopped by George Wilson after a pickup of 10.
Well, we talked to Nick Barnett, the middle linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, and he told us the thing that makes Trent Richardson so difficult to tackle is his low center of gravity and his aggressive style of running the football. I think you get him out there in the open field and you think you got the angle on him, but you have to really wrap him up and take him to the ground because he's so strong and so aggressive in the way he runs the ball.
Again, some pre-snap movement on the play. Kyle Williams coming across the line.
Neutral zone infraction on a defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
8th penalty on the Bills in this game. It's on Williams. Take a look at the quarterback comparison. Brandon Weeden, the 28-year-old rookie. Then if you've just joined us, C.J. Spiller leaving the game with a left shoulder injury, will not return. Still no official word on the extent of the injury. Browns trying to get past that first down marker. Looks as though they did.
A real nice physical run here by Trent Richardson and the right side of this Browns offensive line behind rookie Mitchell Schwartz, the second-round draft choice, who's been fortunate enough to draw the matchup today with Mario Williams. He's doing a pretty darn good job, although Mario Williams did get his first sack of the season in the first half. Schwartz is holding his own pretty good out there today.
This is 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 32. Read the pump fakes. There's it outside line. He has his man. It's incomplete. A rookie, Travis Benjamin. But a late defensive recovery. Second time we've seen that today from Aaron Williams.
You know what, though? This is the second time Brandon Weeden's had a receiver wide open. He let this one go too late, and it hangs up in the air too long. Aaron Williams is beat, Spiro. He's beat. That should be a touchdown. That ball's got to be out in front of the receiver, Travis Benjamin. Brandon Weeden, that's the strength of his game. He's a good downfield thrower, very good deep thrower, and right there, second example today of a missed opportunity.
Weeden hasn't made the glaring mistake so far. No interceptions on the day, but he's missed a couple of throws.
False start, offense, number 33. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Here was Mohamed Massaquoi after the last play, limping off the sideline. We've already seen one substantial injury today as they look at that left leg on the sideline.
They're rubbing the hamstring, it looks like.
Trying to get those fluids in him as quickly as they can. So Travis Benjamin stays on the field. A rookie 4th-round pick out of Miami. Back foot throw by Whedon. But the tight end Watson is buried behind the line of scrimmage by the middle linebacker Kelvin Shepard, a loss of 3.
That was a tight end screen to Ben Watson, and Kelvin Shepard plays it very, very well. Read it the whole way, sniffed it out, and did a good job getting past the All-Pro Joe Thomas to the football.
So once again, Cleveland going backwards here. This has been the issue with this franchise. Talk about all the losing seasons that they've endured here. Just can't seem to find any consistency with the offensive side of the football.
Brandon Weeden got to be careful here.
Over the middle, incomplete. Benjamin was all by his lonesome at about 15 yards in front of him as Cleveland will punt.
Well, Travis Benjamin has got to make this catch, no doubt about it. This is the throw that Buffalo, you can see right there, they were going to break on the ball. That's the throw they wanted Brandon Weeden to make, then come up and make the tackle. Still, from a field position standpoint, that was at least an 8 to 10 yard gain that would make a difference in overall field position.
3rd drop pass by the Browns wideouts in this game. Reggie Hodges, busy man, his 6th punt of the day. And sails out of bounds inside Buffalo territory. We'll spot the football at about the 37 when we come back. Every Wednesday at prime time, JB, Phil Simms, and Chris Collinsworth bring you America's Sunday pastime as only they can. Inside the NFL, Wednesdays on Showtime. Cleveland Browns Stadium, Buffalo 17, the Browns 7. Bills trying to move on without their star offensive player, C.J. Spiller. Left shoulder injury, first half will not return. As if the job for Chan Gailey couldn't get any more difficult. Trying to get this Bills team back on track, a 2nd win in as many weeks if they can pull this one out here. This is Fitzpatrick, 1st and 10, over the middle, finds Jones. They pick up 7. Tackle made by Craig Robertson.
This is a situation where the young Cleveland defense needs to step up, Spiro. They've got a lot of good, young, high draft choices in that front 7, and they need to shut down Buffalo, keep them getting some points, give their offense a little bit of juice coming back out on the field.
Fitzpatrick making the choice. Nearly a one-handed catch by Chandler. So Buffalo still kind of stuck in neutral here. Fitzpatrick will have a 3rd and 3 with 7:15 left in the 3rd.
They've done a great job today, Cleveland, defensively, of deflecting Ryan Fitzpatrick passes, trying to get those big paws up in the passing lanes. Billy Wynn, at one point, had 2 in a row.
Buffalo 0 for their last 5 attempts on 3rd down. Have it here on 3rd and 3. Incomplete. That one hit Choice in the back, as Cleveland's defense holds its ground.
Well, that was just a miscommunication. Good job by Cleveland's defense stepping up. And Ryan Fitzpatrick was hoping that Tashard Choice would get his head around quickly. He thought he had a chance to stick it right on him. But Craig Robertson got over there. And I think Tashard Choice was a little bit caught up in what was coming at him as opposed to the football.
3rd punt today for Montgomery. Fritz watches it sail out of bounds at about the 20. So the Bills have left the door open here. Still 3rd quarter, they're down 10. 36-yard punt, 17-7 Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Internet Explorer. Welcome to a more beautiful web.
Two proud franchises desperately looking for an early season win here. Cleveland at 0-2. Buffalo coming in 1-1 up 17-7 as we approach 7 minutes to play in quarter number 3. Ben Watson with the reception. They pick up 7 on first down. So you want to be a special teams player in the NFL. Take a look at Leotis McKelvin. He's been a marked man for all he's done on the punt return, but Steve, here on the punt team, he was getting beaten up.
That's Buster Skrine and George Wilson just giving him the business. It is not as glamorous as y'all might think it is sometimes.
Second and short. Maybe a chance for Wheaton and company to take a shot. Instead, they keep it on the ground to Richardson. They elect to just keep it simple, move the chains. Arthur Moats on the tackle. So Trent Richardson, his 3rd career game today. Had a couple of highlight reel plays last weekend at Cincinnati. You see what he's done so far, just 21 yards on the ground. Certainly the target for this Buffalo defense. In the backfield, they find a backup tight end, Cameron. Steve is a huge target, 6'5", 245. Wheaton says he may be the best athlete on this Cleveland team.
Very versatile, and we've seen him used in a lot of different ways today, trying to create matchups right there. About as basic a route as a tight end can run, that little flat route. I'm impressed with, in general, the decision-making by Brandon Wheaton today. He has not forced many footballs. Looks very much under control, very well prepared today.
Injury update on the Browns. Mohamed Massaquoi, a hamstring injury, his return is questionable. Wheaton over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Gordon, the rookie. Good coverage applied by Terrence McGee, the backup cornerback.
You know, again, not a great throw by Brandon Wheaton that time. He's had a couple that have not, you know, those 2 deep balls that he's underthrown, and there's been a couple of opportunities he's had to make with people moving across the field where he's not been accurate. That time he had Josh Gordon open. He stepped up nice in the pocket. He could have run it for about 10 to 12 yards, I think, but he's not a runner. I get that. Neither was I. But Josh Gordon was open for a completion right there. That ball was behind him.
Massaquoi looking on. Cleveland 0 for 6 on 3rd downs, as you saw. It's caught. It looked like Gordon was not the intended target. Little went through his hands, and Gordon with a 15-yard pass play and a first down.
I agree with you 100%, Spiro. I think this ball was going to Greg Little. It was thrown high, and thank goodness Josh Gordon just happened to be looking back and hit him right in the chest.
What do they say? It's better to be lucky than good.
There's no doubt about it.
They'll take the first down there. This is Wheaton. Completes again. Jordan Cameron. Little used backup tight end before this week. Do you have a crystal ball at home that you just look into?
Well, if he gets a touchdown at some point today, I recommended him as my fantasy deep sleeper today. If he gets a touchdown, then you might have something there. I might need to go get myself checked.
Again, Steve Berline, the man who gave us Dante Rosario from the Chargers last Sunday. He had a huge day. Richardson, what a cutback move inside the 40 and chopped down from the back, but not before he picks up 10 and another Cleveland first down.
You know the most impressive part of this play? Watch the very end of the play where Mark Anderson is a big, strong defensive end. He's coming to strip this football. Look how strong Trent Richardson is hanging on to this. And see that big arm come over the top? Mark Anderson had the perfect angle to strip that ball out of there. It didn't even budge.
Wheaton throwing down the sideline, incomplete. Nearly a terrific outstretched catch by Cameron. Unable to haul it in. It'll be 2nd and 10.
All right, now that's a really good example of what I think was a great throw by Brandon Wheaton right there. He saw the matchup. He knew he had to try and squeeze it in, and he put it on him quick. If he puts more air in that ball, George Wilson, the safety, gets over there and gets involved with that play. He gave his big tight end, Jordan Cameron, a chance to make that play, or nobody else is going to make the play.
Brandon Wheaton becoming the first Browns rookie quarterback to start on opening day 2 weeks ago. Nice play, catch, Josh Gordon, a rookie from Baylor. Guy who's still trying to get comfortable, Steve, in this offense. But Whedon says he is a freak athletically. And he's made a couple of big catches so far.
Yeah. He was a second-round pick this year in the supplemental draft, so he has not really had a chance to go through the whole offseason as we see a timeout on the field for an injury.
Bills already losing C.J. Spiller to a left shoulder injury in the first half. This is Jairus Byrd, the injured player. Byrd was a question mark with an ankle sprain coming in as the Buffalo trainers are onto the field. Jairus Byrd on the sideline. They were looking at him during the timeout. Critical third and short play here. Whedon under center. Throws to the sideline. They've got the first down. It's Greg Little. They pick up 5 there. Enormous first down for Cleveland.
Nice plays. The old West Coast offense. Mike Holmgren, the president of the Cleveland Browns, still has his West Coast offense. A great roll right, sprint right option. Here's the injury, the play before to Jairus Byrd. Watch his head right there. His head snaps back a little bit. And as you keep watching, he gets up. You think he's okay.
Just kind of fell down to his knees and then to the turf. Whedon's pass incomplete. Intended for Watson.
We're going to get back to it. As he gets up, he takes a few. He looks a little wobbly right there. You can see he just kind of wobbles a little bit, and he says, oh, something's not right. And he ended up dropping down to the ground from that point forward.
Single match.
It looks as though Byrd will come back. Right now, still a spectator. This is 2nd and 10 from the 22. Complete. Richardson covered by Shepard.
If I have one little small critique here on Brandon Whedon, you got to be careful throwing the ball late to the outside like that. Those short, flat routes to the outside. He made the comment to us, in college football, you could get away with a mistake once in a while, and also receivers will run around open on a pretty regular basis. In the NFL, that's not the case. And if you make a mistake, you're usually going to pay the price.
Watch it.
This is 3rd and 10. Whedon from the shotgun. His man wide open. Touchdown. Travis Benjamin from 22 yards. And Cleveland cuts the Bills' lead.
Well, the rookie Travis Benjamin does a great job showing the post corner route against another rookie, the 10th pick in the draft this year, Stephon Gilmore. He got him spun around. Travis Benjamin, nice route. And Brandon Whedon saw the matchup, liked it, made a nice throw on the money. We got ourselves a ball game.
Cleveland have missed on their first 6 third down attempts. Yet they've hit on their last 3. And after trailing by 14-0 early, it's a brand new game.
Well, we're going to see Travis Benjamin. He's right here at the bottom of your screen. Watch the great post corner route that he's going to run right there and get Stephon Gilmore all twisted up. Stephon Gilmore sure he's going to the post, and now it's too late to get back on the outside. That's about as easy as it gets. A nice route, good timing. No one in the throwing lane whatsoever. Great protection. And then a good job getting the feet down by Travis Benjamin.
Browns go 13 plays, 80 yards in 4 minutes, 38 seconds. So we've had a couple of rookie receivers today catch their first NFL touchdowns. T.J. Graham for Buffalo, and now that man, Travis Benjamin. 4th-round pick out of Miami. Benjamin had just 1 reception over the first 2 weeks before today. And Steve, how about that try? 80 yards. That will give Whedon some confidence.
He looked very confident in that drive. I was very, very impressed all the way around.
Kelvin 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Not going anywhere. touchback will give Fitzpatrick the football at the 20. Tomorrow, don't miss a Two Broke Girls season premiere shocker at its new time. Tomorrow, 9/8 Central, only CBS. Now, this one appeared to be headed down a lopsided game. Bills jumped out, had a 14-0 lead, then the injury to C.J. Spiller. Cleveland has outscored them 14-3 since. Also 14-3 since Jimmy Haslam came up to the broadcast booth. Incoming owner of the Cleveland Browns. Here's Tashard Choice. He is gang tackled at the 20. Picks up 1, maybe 2. John Hughes got there first.
And even though that Tashard Choice has come in and performed very well, admirably at the least, in the absence of C.J. Spiller, you do kind of get the sense that this Buffalo Bills team is a little bit in shock because of the loss of C.J. Spiller. They feel like they're missing a little bit of energy out. They don't have the same spark that when number 28 is on the field.
Second and 9. It's deflected, nearly picked. Off the hands of Johnson. Sheldon Brown was there for the Browns.
This has happened way too much, Spiro, in the last 2. We had Buffalo last weekend against Kansas City. Stevie Johnson's open right there. That is open in the NFL. That ball is not located in the right spot. And accuracy is not the biggest asset that Ryan Fitzpatrick has, but he makes that throw in his sleep and should make that throw. That was a big incomplete pass right there that Buffalo really needed.
Third and 9. Incomplete. T.J. Graham, the target buster screen on the coverage, and the Browns are going to get it back. Buffalo has failed to convert on their last 7 third downs.
And we pointed out coming into this game, Buffalo was 4th in the NFL, completing well over 50%. Their first 2 drives, they're making it easy. And here comes another Cleveland Browns showing block here for this punt.
Brian Moorman from inside his own 10. Excellent kick. Cribbs over the shoulder catch, backpedaling. Makes McKeldin miss. Cribbs, here he comes up the sideline, up past the 40. Excellent punt, but an even better return. 27 yards from Cribbs, and excellent field position for Brandon Weeden. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rocks as Tyler Bray and the Tennessee Vols go down between the hedges against Aaron Murray and the unbeaten Georgia Bulldogs. The hoopla begins with college football today. Notre Dame fighting Irish with a big win last night.
Heck yeah.
Making Steve Berline very happy. Jordan Cameron again, close to another first down for Cleveland. Arthur Moats on the coverage. Busy day in week 3, San Francisco, Minnesota. Let's get an update as we head to New York.
Vikings are nearly flawless.
I'll tell you, Christian Ponder to Kyle Rudolph right here. Second touchdown of the day. Ponder's got a touchdown rushing. Right now, 24-13. It's Minnesota. And I'm telling you, they got themselves a quarterback right now in Christian Ponder.
Spiro and Steve.
What a shocker.
A huge win in the NFC for Minnesota. Adrian Peterson says that they weren't intimidated going into that game.
Well, the Niners are one of the very best road teams in the NFL as well. They don't get intimidated going in anywhere. But
in the meantime here, the momentum clearly now in favor of the Browns. They move the chains, 1st and 10. With just 20 seconds to play here before the end of the 3rd. A screen pass late developing to Richardson. They lose yardage. Tackle made by Bird as he dumps him for a loss of 2.
It's a little thing, Spiro. That play was set up very well, but Brandon Weeden's timing was thrown off just a little bit as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Well, Cleveland at one time down 14-0 has cut the deficit to 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Score by quarters as we are just about ready for the fourth quarter. Buffalo 17, Cleveland 14 as we welcome you back. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew with you. Week 3 matchup in the AFC. Whedon's pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Spencer Johnson, the 9th-year player, got a big mid on it. But this, Steve, a brand new game. Cleveland 0-2, desperately trying to break through with their first win.
Here's an example. Spencer Johnson realized he can't get to Brandon Whedon. Same thing that we've seen Cleveland do quite a bit, getting that arm up in the passing lane. The one thing I am surprised about, Mario Williams on the rookie, Mitchell Schwartz, right down here at the bottom of your screen, right there. We expect to see a little something out of Mario Williams at some point.
Williams still playing with the cast on that wrist, but right on cue. He and Mark Anderson converge. They meet right at Whedon. There is a marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Anderson, 10 sacks with the Patriots last season, and this one will be upheld. It's against Cleveland.
That was Mitchell Schwartz, right as we identified before that play, the right tackle, holding Mario Williams. Mario Williams just said, I'm just going to come and roll you right here. I don't know why that's a holding call, to be honest with you. It didn't really matter. I don't think Schwartz, that left hand got a little bit low on the rib cage. See it from that angle, a little bit better. Good pressure from Buffalo on that play, though.
Hodges on for another punt. Fair catch signaled by McKelvin. As Whedon and company go 3 and out. Buffalo clinging to the 3-point lead. Early fourth quarter here in Cleveland. Well, this past Tuesday, Jordan Cameron and Usama Young of the Browns joined a group of third-grade students at Bureau Dual Language School for a reading rally to celebrate the importance of continued reading and supporting childhood literacy at home. It's all part of the NFL's celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Jordan Cameron has had a big day so far here. Cleveland down 17-14 early fourth quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick and his Bills offense back onto the field, but they have hit a standstill over the last quarter plus. Here's Tashard Choice on in relief of Spiller. Has a lot of yardage on first down. Inside Browns territory, picks up 22 before Usama Young dragged him down.
Nothing fancy here, just a straight power play off the left side. Cordy Glenn, the left tackle right there, just doing his job, just holding up enough to get Tashard Choice up in there. Truly, it was Eric Wood, the center, and Andy Levitri that had the key blocks on the inside of that play. And then Tashard Choice, man, plenty of room. He likes seeing that hole open up like that.
It might have been a right guard or a right tackle.
Look at the numbers from Choice. 13 carries, 76 yards in relief of Spiller. Spiller leaving the game with a left shoulder injury, will not return. Here's Steven Johnson inside the 40. Picks up 7. Tackle made by Sheldon Brown. Again, this is a Cleveland secondary playing without them. There's stud back there, Joe Hayden, serving the second game of his 4-game suspension.
That's just a simple throw and catch. Ryan Fitzpatrick identifying the respect that Sheldon Brown was given to Stevie Johnson on that play, staying off the ball. They can come up and make a tackle.
They'll give him 8 yards officially to set up a 2nd and 2. Lamb in motion. This is Johnny White. Has the first down and still looking for more. Frosty Rucker on the stop. Rucker, a one-time teammate of Ryan Fitzpatrick in Cincinnati. Clock continues to run. We're inside of 13 minutes to play. Both of these teams, Steve, with some very difficult 2-week stretches coming up. Buffalo home for the Patriots next week, and then they go to San Francisco. Here's Fitzpatrick play action. Goes to the fullback McIntyre inside the 25. Tackle made by Jackson. Looks like Buster's screen is hurt. McIntyre picks up 8. The screen the guy was picked on early and often last Sunday in Cincinnati. The kid who doesn't lack for confidence. In his second season, the former 5th-round pick out of Tennessee Chattanooga.
That's a big man right there. He's trying to tackle. Corey McIntyre, 8-year vet. Well, that's a big man to run into. Got to respect the heck out of Buster's screen to stick his nose in there, but it's like running into a brick wall.
Screen made his first career start last week. This will be a 2nd and short. Try to take a shot here.
You know, I think it's a great chance. It's a good call, Spiro, I think. If you get the right matchup on the outside, 2nd and short, great time to go after it.
Chan Gailey stays conservative. Choice lost yardage.
Actually giving him a good spot at the 21-yard line. Looks like he got the first down.
Craig Robertson finally brought him down, so the forward progress gives Buffalo a first down. There's Chan Gailey.
You'll see the push for that Buffalo offensive line. I think that was a pretty generous spot.
Fitzpatrick again, that patented quick release finds Stevie Johnson. They pick up just a yard. Tackle made by Sheldon Brown. Brown had some interesting comments this week. A bit of a disconnect between he and his coaches as we take another look. Played just 1 step, Steve, last Sunday in Cincinnati. Brown says he could have played more. Pat Shurmur says he was not demoted and that they were simply going by the doctors and what they had told them.
Coming off a stinger situation from the week before where he had the neck injury. Right there, a good break on the ball. He baited Ryan Fitzpatrick into throwing that pass.
8th play of the drive for Buffalo. This is 2nd and 9. Incomplete. Unable to get it to Choice.
Well, Craig Robertson was in position to make the tackle on that one. That was the exact same screen pass that C.J. Spiller scored on earlier in the ball game. You can see they got everybody over the right side. They're trying to slip to Shard Choice to the backside. Probably pretty good deal that Ryan Fitzpatrick did not complete that ball to Shard Choice.
Third and 9. Here's Graham, the rookie, cuts back inside the 15. He's right at the marker, and it appears as though he's got the first down.
That's the kind of stuff that Chan Gailey, Ryan Fitzpatrick has seen out of T.J. Graham on the outside right there. They do a nice job of setting these little bubble-type screens out there, and T.J. Graham showing his athletic ability and converting that 3rd down. Big 3rd down conversion right there.
Well, I tell you what, for a kid who Chan Gailey said wasn't ready to go week 1 in terms of the playbook, Graham has made a huge recovery since, letting a touchdown for the Bills. A big first down hookup on that play. Choice creeping inside the 10. Brought down by Robertson. 1, maybe 2.
You know, one of the people we haven't seen out here at all this game, Spiro, is Scott Fujita, who's a starting outside linebacker, veteran linebacker for the Cleveland Browns, and he hasn't been playing much today. The reason people might be asking why that is because Buffalo goes so much 3 and 4 wide receivers that it forces Cleveland to go with their nickel package. When they do that, they put an extra DB in and take out a linebacker. Fujita's the one that's not in on that package.
Buffalo.
Fujita, of course, part of that New Orleans Saints bounty scandal. Has been a spectator for the most part so far today. Buffalo by 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota. 1&1 My Website, where creating a business website is easy. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Biggest play of the game so far. 2nd and 9 for the Bills inside the 10. Fitzpatrick has time, throws, end zone, touchdown. Stevie Johnson from 9 yards out. And Buffalo giving itself some breathing room.
This Buffalo Bills team has been so effective inside the red zone. Best in the NFL. I think they're now 7 for 7 or 8 for 8, but they got the matchup they wanted. Stevie Johnson isolated on Demetri Patterson, and what a great patient route, sticking to the outside, coming back underneath, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick knew exactly where he wanted to go with that football, and it's a hook-up easy touchdown for Buffalo.
Point after by Lindell, and the Bills lead now at 10. Fitzpatrick to Johnson over the middle, and Buffalo builds on its lead. Buffalo covers 68 yards, 10 plays. Ryan Fitzpatrick to Stevie Johnson, 9-yard scoring strike. And a Buffalo Bills team that has not won a road game since opening day last season. Now with a 10-point lead, 9:08 left in the 4th. 8 straight road defeats entering this one today. It's the mother of all weddings on the season premiere of How I Met Your Mother, followed by the series premiere of the new comedy Partners tomorrow starting at 8/7 Central, only CBS. Bills wide receivers shouldering even more responsibility today with the injury to C.J. Spiller. Spiller leaving the game in the first half with a left shoulder injury, if you just joined us. Buffalo not giving us anything else in terms of the extent of the injury. Incomplete pass marker thrown. Weeden trying to thread the needle to Richardson.
I think you're going to see a holding call here, maybe on Jason Pinkston, the left guard.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Wow, that's a big penalty for Cleveland right there. Mario Williams calling hands to the face. Just look at him at the bottom of the screen right here. Yeah, he gets that hand up underneath the chin of the right tackle right there for Mitchell Schwartz, the rookie.
A Mario guy, of course, who was complaining after week 1 about Austin Howard, the Jets tackle, with what he felt was illegal use of the hands in that game. Nice reception. Weeden finds the backup running back, Chris Obanaya.
Well, the complaint that Mario Williams had that game was that, number one, it wasn't being called, and number two, it was happening consistently, and he was talking to the referees about it and saying, hey, listen, this guy's punching me in the face every play. If it's going to be that way, then you got to let me go to his face, go to his head.
Williams was unhappy with what he felt was a lack of communication between he and the officials. Richardson on the little short pass picks up a yard.
His comment was, I think, to quote him verbatim, was he said he'd be happy to go Deacon Jones and do the head slap on him. But right there, Mario got caught. He wouldn't deny that he was guilty on that play. He just wanted to know where the referee stood and to make sure that it was going to be called fairly either way.
Williams with his first sack as a Bill earlier in this game. Cleveland with a huge first down. They've got it 1st and 10. Weeden feels the pocket collapse. Finds Richardson, who's dumped behind the line of scrimmage by Barnett. And drops Richardson for a loss of 1.
That's one of those plays, Spiro, where a veteran quarterback might just throw this thing into the ground. No one's up. And he got whacked big time by Mark Anderson right there. But yeah, you complete a pass for a 2-yard loss. It's not what you're looking for. The clock's still running, keeps the ball in play.
Weeden on 2nd and 11. It's batted down to the line. So 3rd and long. Whedon, one of 5 rookies starting at the quarterback position around the NFL. As we check in to see what some of those first-year players are doing. Andrew Luck, game-winning drive late last week. And RG3, not quite the kind of statistical game we've seen from him, Steve, over the first 2 games.
No, not only 93 yards passing. Whedon, he told us in our meeting that he does pay attention. You know, there's a competition going on. They all know each other, but he does kind of check out their stats and see how they played to kind of compare his development to theirs.
We're the only one of the group yet to win. This is 3rd and 11. They've got the first down. It's Greg Little inside Buffalo territory. Markley thrown back at the line of scrimmage. They pick up 17, but this one may be coming back.
Holding, offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Oh, what a shame for Pat Shurmur. Brandon Whedon cannot believe it. A great 3rd down conversion. That throw was a strike, ripped right in there in the tight coverage. But Alex Mack, the great center, called for holding on Mario Williams. And then Little finds out he can't believe it either.
So a 17-yard pass play that would have given them the first down is negated, and now they spot it inside the 25.
And you talk about a gut punch. That Pat Shurmur, very excited. They picked up that 3rd and 11, and you think you're moving, you got a chance to get a score on the board, and all of a sudden you're looking at 3rd and 21 now.
Under 7 minutes to play. Whedon over the middle. Need to get to the 45. They're about 9 yards short. And the Browns, with that costly penalty, will punt after a pickup of 12.
Now, there are just not that many plays in the playbook for a 3rd and 21 situation. The fans here in Cleveland not happy with the decision to
Steve,
punt the football.
You're down 2 scores, 6 and change left. They do have 3 timeouts left and a 2-minute warning. Do you roll the dice?
I'm with you. You know, your defense is going to have to make a stop anyway. I can't fault Pat Shurmur for making that decision.
Kelvin watches the punt from Hodges sail out of bounds. Another good kick from Hodges inside the 20. Ryan Fitzpatrick onto the field when we come back. 10-point lead for Buffalo, 4th quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life Insurance Company. And by Subway. It's Subway's birthday, and everyone is celebrating with $5 footlong faves all September long.
Rainy, chilly fall day here in Cleveland. On the banks of Lake Erie, 24-14 Buffalo. 6:03 remaining. Fitzpatrick keeps it on the ground to Choice. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, you think back to that opening day nightmare at the Jets, the 3 interceptions, hasn't thrown one since.
It's his 2nd solid performance in a row. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick would tell you he's got to hit some of the passes he's missed today, but his decision-making and his execution, specifically in the red zone, has been almost perfect. I think Chan Gailey, Ryan Fitzpatrick, they take this performance every week. Leave a few throws out there to improve upon. No turnovers, though, and execution in the red zone. Very key.
Choice again up the middle. I have to give Steve a little grief. You did give us Jordan Cameron in terms of your fantasy prediction, but you did tell us to sit Ryan Fitzpatrick as well.
Well, the problem with this, the problem with this format that we have is you got to sit somebody.
Cleveland, first team timeout.
Think of anybody
30-second timeout.
You've had a good couple of weeks. Don't let it get you down. Reminder to stay tuned for the Farmers Insurance update, time permitting. As Fitzpatrick walks over to have a conversation with Chan Gailey. There's Pat Shurmur. A busy day in the NFL here in Week 3. Coming up next on some of these CBS stations, Matt Schaub and the Texans will take on Peyton Manning and the Broncos, or Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers battle Carson Palmer and Oakland. Check your local listings. It's all coming up as the second part of our CBS doubleheader.
Well, this is by far the biggest defensive play of the game. for the Cleveland Browns. Pat Shermer walked halfway out on the field to challenge his defense during that timeout. If they want any chance to win this ballgame, they've got to stop Buffalo right here.
Bills need to get to the 28. Choice looks as though he's short. DeQuell Jackson dragging him down. Shermer's going to take his first timeout. I wonder if they'll bring out the chains crew here to measure.
It's 4th down. Looks like, yeah, he's a full yard short. You were right. He was definitely
timeout.
short.
Cleveland, second team timeout, 30-second timeout.
So that is their second timeout.
And a good answer in the bell there by Cleveland specifically. A great job by linebacker DeQuell Jackson. Stepping up and stuffing Rashard Choice short of that first down marker.
Well, you'll certainly learn a little bit about Brandon Weeden here. Browns are 0-2, but they've been involved in 2 very close games. And probably should have beat Philadelphia here on opening day behind just a tremendous performance by their defense.
And Brandon Weeden that day had about as low, I think, a 5-point-something quarterback rating.
5.1.
Could not be any worse, but he did answer the bell last week, and he's played pretty well today.
Brian Moorman on the punt. Sails out of bounds. Weeden will have excellent field position. Browns down to their final timeout. They do have the 2-minute warning. With still plenty of time. There's a marker on the field.
And Brian Moorman, the punter, is upset with the spot, but that truly was just a bad kick. Moorman, a great punter, long-time punter for the Buffalo Bills, but they've been trying to keep the ball away from Joshua Cribbs. And sometimes when you try to directional kick, you're going to shank a couple off to the side of your foot, and that's happened a few times today.
A punt, if it stands, at just 27 yards.
After the ball was dead, personal foul.
Wow.
And the kicking team, number 53, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the rookie linebacker, Nigel Bradham. So they'll tack on 15 yards.
And that's Chan Gailey giving him an earful right there. You're going to see in the lower right corner of the screen. Little retaliation.
Kaluka Mayava takes a knee. Just to embellish that a little bit.
A little University of Southern California acting job right there.
Got the Emmys coming up tonight.
But Nigel Bradham got to keep his composure. Rookie just lost it there, and Chan Gailey let him know it. That's a big penalty. That's 15 yards tacked onto a 27-yard punt.
So they'll spot the football inside Buffalo territory. So Brandon Weeden, the 28-year-old rookie quarterback, down 10, 4:59 to play, fourth quarter. They'll mark it down at the 42.
If I'm Cleveland right now, Spiro, Pat Shermer, if I'm in his head, this is a perfect opportunity to call your best shot play action, where you're going to take a shot at the end zone. Good hard play action, and try and get one of your speed receivers up the field.
Best starting field position for Cleveland today. They go play action, and he's set. Buffalo not biting on the fake. Marcel Darius and Mario Williams dump him for a loss of 10.
And this is the luxury of having a great front four, potentially great front four. They didn't bring any pressure at all, but their front four is so athletic that Brandon Weeden came out of that fake and had nowhere. He couldn't even look up the field. There were 3 blue shirts: Mark Anderson, Mario Williams, and Marcel Darius there to finish it off.
Marcel Darius left the team again, attended the funeral of his younger brother, Simeon Gilmore. It's intercepted by McKelvin. Leotis McKelvin, who saw some of his snaps cut down last week after a poor showing in week 1 with a huge defensive play.
Well, I don't fault Brandon Weeden for this throw. I mean, he's got to take the blame. He threw it, but I know what he's thinking. He's trying to make a play. There's 4 minutes left in the game. You're backed up, trying to stick one in there. Was it a force? Yeah, it was a force, but this is a situation where you need to try and make things happen. You only got a couple more opportunities, so I can justify that.
5th interception for Weeden on the season, first since opening day. First pick, meantime, for McKelvin. Had a huge punt return for 6 last Sunday. There's Ryan Fitzpatrick back onto the field. Choice dumps behind the line. Jabal sheared on the tackle.
Timeout.
As Pat
Cleveland.
Shermer will take his
Third and
final timeout.
30-second timeout.
It was so frustrating for that man, Pat Shermer, second-year head coach. He's trying to break through for their first win. 8 straight defeats dating back to last season, longest active streak in the NFL.
This is the 4th time in the last 5 years that Cleveland has started 0-3.
We mentioned the tough schedule to come. At Baltimore and then at the Giants. That game coming up against the Ravens is Thursday night, a very, very short week.
And then a tough Cincinnati team, and then the one game that you think might be a little breather is Indianapolis, but nobody's a breather right now. Then you follow it up with San Diego and Baltimore, two more tough games. It is not a league for the weak at all.
McIntyre in motion. This is Tashard Choice. Need to get to the 50 to move the chains. So Buffalo, barring any collapse here, will move to 2-1. Mentioned their tough schedule to come here the next couple of weeks. Home for the Patriots next Sunday, and then at San Francisco. Arizona, big winner, Steve, last weekend. That's not a gimme, certainly not.
Tennessee playing very well today. In control of their game. Up by 7 with a minute and a half to go. Then at Houston, at New England. Let those two speak for themselves.
Browns are out of timeouts. 3.5 to play. Fitzpatrick nowhere to throw. Needs to get to the 50. Looks as though he's just short. Fitzpatrick for 7.
He is a little bit short. That was a called quarterback draw. You're going to see Ryan, he take a step back and then decides he wants to tuck it and go. Linemen are down the field blocking. You got to respect this guy's intensity and his spirit, man. He is not afraid to stick his nose, tuck it up in there, and take on anybody. It looks like they're going to try and go for it here. Either they're going to try and draw Cleveland off sides or let the clock run down and take a timeout would be the other option.
Daly will use one here. He'll take it.
Timeout. Buffalo. Second team timeout. 30-second timeout.
So 2:46 to play. Bills with a 10-point lead. Game summary in terms of how we got to this point. TJ Graham, the rookie's first NFL touchdown. CJ Spiller. Long screen pass for 6 before leaving the game with this left shoulder injury. Spiller not returning. Nothing official from the Bills locker room on the extent of the injury. And then Cleveland came back. Down 14-0. Trent Richardson short touchdown burst. Travis Benjamin with his first NFL touchdown. Before Buffalo gave itself some breathing room, Stevie Johnson. Little touchdown shimmy. I think he's got to talk to TJ Graham about maybe improving his touchdown dance. But the jury, Steve, still out on just how good this Buffalo team can be. We know about the revamped, retooled defense. Gibbs fumbles the punt, able to recover, brought down at the 11. And now, of course, the bigger question mark for Buffalo, if C.J. Spiller's out for a prolonged amount of time, how does that affect the offense? We know Fred Jackson will return to practice this week. Uncertain at this point if he'll play next Sunday, but that is a huge loss with the NFL's rushing leader going down.
Well, ideally, Fred Jackson, C.J. Spiller That's a situation Chan Gailey would love to have. It just appears that that's not meant to be the way things have gone the last part last year and then the first part here this year. But the good news is you do have Fred Jackson back. He's not the big play threat that C.J. Spiller is, but he's a true all-around, every down back. And a guy you know you can count on.
Waiting over the middle. Finds Gordon. Gordon with a first down. Cleveland is out of timeouts. 17 yards through the air.
The other thing that Fred Jackson is for this Buffalo team is he is the heart and soul of that offense. He is the heartbeat of that team.
Push open Naya. But everything over the middle of the field. Clock continues to run here. Trying to get one more off before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I don't like that decision to throw that football, Brandon Weeden.
And they won't get it off.
That's the 2-minute warning.
We hit the 2-minute warning here in Cleveland. Buffalo en route to a second straight win. Final 2 minutes from Cleveland. Buffalo trying to put the finishing touches on this 10-point win. Coming up next, Matt Sharp and the Texans taking on Peyton Manning and the Broncos, or the Steelers and the Raiders. Check your local listings across these CBS stations. Ben Watson in motion. Weeden from the gun on 2nd and 8. Over the middle, it's intercepted. Picked off by Brian Scott. One man to beat, and he's brought down just shy of the goal line. Greg Little with the touchdown-saving tackle. 33 yards on the return for the 10th-year veteran out of Penn State.
Well, what a disheartening way to end this ball game for Brandon Weeden and Pat Shurmur. You scratch and claw your way back into it and finish it up with a couple of picks. That was Brian Scott just baited the rookie Brandon Weeden to throwing that football. Made him feel like Ben Watson was open and then just pounced on it. Good effort by Greg Little to try and prevent Brian Scott from getting into the end zone.
Scott has played 6 of his 10 seasons with Buffalo. So Weeden with his second pick here in the 4th, just trying to make something happen.
Chan
50 to play, and a classy move here by Chan Gailey.
No doubt, no doubt.
Browns are out of timeouts.
I don't think you see any Rich Schiano out of the Cleveland Browns trying to torpedo on the victory formation. Greg Schiano, excuse me.
That was Brandon Weeden, certainly a disappointing finish for him. Browns will go to 0-3. Chan Gailey and the Bills, meantime, to 2-1. Again, a very tough turnaround for Pat Shurmur and the Browns. Playing a Thursday game in Baltimore this coming week.
Well, the first win is always the toughest in a situation like this. And I do believe that the Cleveland Browns have the nucleus for a lot of good things to come. It's just a matter of how long it's going to be before they get that confidence going. They're just a team right now that just doesn't believe that they can get it done. They don't believe in themselves enough to quite finish off these ball games. And you know that man's burning inside.
We just hope now that the injury to Spiller is not as substantial as I'm sure the Bills are fearing it may be at this point. A left shoulder injury. Now, Kansas City, New Orleans up next for most of you. A 3-point game late in New Orleans there. Pat Shurmur and Chan Gailey embrace at the center of the field as the Buffalo Bills go to 2-1 and score their first road victory since opening day of last season. 8-game road losing streak is finally over. Coming up next, the second portion of our CBS doubleheader. Final score, the Buffalo Bills 24 and the Cleveland Browns 14. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. Now for Steve Berline, this is Spiro Dedes saying so long from Cleveland. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. We'll take you to New York for all the scores and highlights next.